Warm greetings from the High 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me. It's in the wee hours of Thursday morning here in the High 10. I've got a notification from a fan that there was an update to the Cash Gernon story, and I decided to go live even at this late hour to bring you the said information. I doubt that many people will be up this time of morning, but I happen to be up, so I decided to bring you the said information. And it is contradictory to what we have been told once again pertaining to these said people involved in this storyline. Hello, Dama Dozen. How you doing? It's contradictory, the information I'm going to bring to you. It's winded, what I'm going to bring to you. It is also recapping what I've already told you in my said lives. I've done 9 lives pertaining to the death of Cash Gernon, and this should make number 10 in 1 week. So I'm trying to keep you all abreasted on what is going on. Some of the information you may disagree with, but there is some contradictory information in the storyline pertaining to Darryinn and the ankle monitor, because we keep hearing that he had it on at the time of the kidnapping and death of Cash Gernon. But it says in this article, 1 minute it says he had it on, and then at the end it recaps and says it's false information. And also we'll be giving you information on who the suspect is in this kidnapping and death of Cash Gernon. Everything is up for interpretation. The U.S. Sun. And let me say about the U.S. Sun, I always thought that they were more of a tabloid paper back in the day growing up as a young girl, preteen. So that's why I'm kind of leery of some of this information, because I don't know what to believe is truth or not. But I'm going to read you the said information, and we will find out what is truth or not somewhere down the line, dealing with the death of this child and the people who are involved in the story, the people who have talked in the story, gave commentary in the story pertaining to who they are, who they aren't. That's said information. Hello, Nada. How you doing? The U.S. Sun is the source. Horrifying. Cash Gernon latest news. Neighbor in tears when she found body after Darryinn Brown, caught on video snatching boy. How did Cash Gernon die? Who is Darryinn Brown and what did he do? Who is Cash Gernon's mother? Who is Monica Sherrod? This was updated May 27th. A local neighbor was in tears after she found 4-year-old Cash Gernon's body, who was abducted from his home on May 16, 2021. The crime was allegedly committed by 18-year-old Darryinn Brown. Brown, 18, is being held on charges of kidnapping and burglary. The police said more charges are likely pending results from a forensic analysis. Authorities have not confirmed how Sherrod identified the suspect or Brown's relationship to Cash. According to WFAA, Brown wore an ankle monitoring bracelet for a prior charge. Through the hard work of men and women of Dallas Police Department, this criminal was brought to justice, and it would not have been possible without the Dallas FBI evidence response team and the public's assistance, police said in a statement. The boy had multiple wounds from an edged weapon, according to the Dallas Morning News. We are shocked and very angry about what has happened to this small child, Martinez said, describing the boy's death as violent. Cops dispel rumors about Cash Gernon's death. After 4-year-old Cash was killed, many rumors were circulating about the crime, and the local Dallas police sought to put the inaccuracies to rest. The police believe Brown acted completely alone in the crime, and no one else was involved. There were also speculations that Brown was wearing an ankle monitor, but this was false. An ankle monitor was not a condition of his previous release after he was arrested for evading the police. Cash Gernon's grandmother speaks out on Facebook. A woman who says she is Cash Gernon's grandmother spoke out about his death on social media. As many of you know, we lost a beautiful soul this past weekend to a horrific crime. Our grandson Cash was taken from us by a coward animal, Patty Searose said in a Facebook post. All of our hearts are torn to shreds over this loss. Any help you guys can give is deeply appreciated, she said, including a fundraising link. Please keep our family in your prayers, she added. Trevor Gernon wanted by police in Houston. In a video published on YouTube, Trevor Gernon, father of slain toddler Cash Gernon, said he fears for his freedom. I have to fear for my freedom as it is the goal of some to see me go to jail rather than grieve the loss of my little boy, Gernon said. ABC 7, excuse me. Fell off there. Sorry. ABC 7 reports that Gernon is wanted on at least 5 felony bonds in Harris County, which is located in Houston, Texas. The charges include 2 counts of unauthorized use of a vehicle, 2 drug charges, and a count of fraudulent use of identifying information. Police do not know where Cash Gernon's father is. Trevor Gernon, the father deceased, excuse me, moving too fast. Hold on 1 second. I have to go back a little bit. Trevor Gernon, the father of deceased 4-year-old Cash, spoke about the death of his son in a YouTube video released this week. Dallas Police Lieutenant Kerry Wise said police have seen the video but have not confirmed that it is Trevor Gernon speaking in it. Wise also said police do not know where Gernon is currently living, though they have spoken with him. I have to fear for my freedom, as it is the goal of some to see me go to jail rather than grieve the loss of my little boy, Gernon said in the video. He is wanted on at least 5 felony bonds. No doubt who abducted Cash Gernon, police say. In a community meeting, Lieutenant Kerry Wise told concerned neighbors of the slain child that police are waiting for forensic evidence before they charge Darryinn Brown with murder. There is no doubt who took him, and as soon as I get the lab report back, there will be no doubt who killed him, Wise said. Brown has already been charged with kidnapping and murder. Darryinn Brown had visited Cash's home before the abduction. Darryinn Brown had visited the family home while caretaker Monica Sherrod was out grocery shopping 2 days prior. She returned to her home in Mountain Creek, Dallas, and found Brown spending time with Cash. The unannounced visit and playtime with her young son irritated Sherrod. The alleged kidnapping killer was an acquaintance to one of her sons. I told him, don't come back around my kids. I don't want you, she told the Daily Mail. Darryinn Brown was wanted for evading arrest. Dallas teen Darryinn Brown had a previous run-in with the law from an arrest dating back to April 2021. The 18-year-old was facing a misdemeanor charge of evading arrest, according to court documents. Darryinn Brown has been arrested and accused of murdering 4-year-old after abducting him from May 16, 2020. Cash Gernon's father banned from the funeral. Trevor Gernon, the father of the deceased 4-year-old Cash, has been banned from attending his son's funeral. Keep a note of what I just said. 1 week following Cash's death, not heard from. Gernon's sister Ashley Marco told the Daily Beast that Cash's biological mother, Melinda Seagroves, has banned him from the funeral because she blames him for Cash's death. My brother wants to just say goodbye to his son and put him to rest, and this has just been really difficult to figure out, Marco said. Marco said a funeral home told her both parents must consent for funeral proceedings to move forward. So we want to work with them to just put Cash to rest, but the family isn't cooperating with us at all, she said. Cash's memorial is full of toys. A makeshift memorial was assembled in the Dallas neighborhood where the boy was found. The dead child adored superheroes and would mimic Iron Man's pulse powers. His older brother, Kamron Mori, 18, told the Dallas Morning News. He admitted he and his family are inconsolable after all they endured. I'm already cried out, he said. Monica Sherrod, who had been caring for Cash and his brother when he was abducted, dropped off the child's favorite dinosaur toy. Jogger, who found Cash's body, can't unsee what she saw. Antoinette Square spoke to Jillian Mealy on Fox and Friends First about finding Cash Gernon's body in a dumpster while jogging after his death on May 15th. I do believe that's a discrepancy about this dumpster comment. It's my first time ever hearing that, so go figure. And as I'm walking, I see a hand, and then I told my mom, I said, Mom, I think this is a person. She then broke down in tears and called 911. The dispatcher asked if the young boy could be alive, just unconscious. I remember looking at his poor body, and I remember seeing ants on the bottom of his feet, she recalls. She remembered feeling paranoid as the mother of young children herself. Cash Gurney's father says he is paying a painful price for leaving twins behind. Father Cash, Trevor Girder, released a statement about the incident on his sister's YouTube channel. In it, he says, I have paid the most ultimate and painful price for my poor judgment, and I have to live with this devastation every single day. He is tearful as he recounts the death of his son. Cash's twin brother Carter is now with his mother, who reportedly lives in Houston. What has Darryinn Brown been charged with so far? Authorities charged Darryinn Brown with kidnapping and theft. He's been held on a $1.5 million bond. Brown, 18, is accused of slaying Cash Gurney 4 by sneaking to a family's Dallas home early Saturday morning. Dallas police expect to add more charges against Brown pending forensic analysis. After searching the Dallas home that Cash was taken from, police believe they found the weapon Brown used to kill the 4-year-old boy. CBS 11 News reported that investigators found a tissue paper in a bathroom that had blood drops on it. A small pocket knife was also located and seized. Cash's body was found with multiple stab wounds, causing the Dallas County Medical Examiner to rule his death a homicide. Darren Brown's mother claims he is innocent. A woman at Brown's address who identified herself as Mimi Brown, Darren Brown's mother, told the Dallas Morning News her son was home all weekend and could not have kidnapped the boy. That's not right at all, the woman told the outlet. I know my son is traumatized. I know he's scared because I'm scared. Mimi and her son is a patient of Mimi said her son is a patient of Metro Care Services, which provides mental health care to children and adults. She said he has several young cousins that he helps take care of and wouldn't have hurt Cash. Cash's older brother used to be friends with Darryinn Brown. That is one of my first updates. The Dallas Morning News reports that Cash's brother, Kamron Mori, knew Darryinn Brown from Duncanville High School and Middle School. Mori said they had been friends in the past. He spoke out against his former friend on Monday, saying, friends ain't nothing. While Mori and Cash were not biological brothers, Mori said he viewed Cash and his twin as his brothers. Mori is the oldest child of Monica Sherrod, who was raising the Gernon twins along with her own kids. Cash Gurney's father is an easy scapegoat, Fox Nation host says. On March 25th, after playing the video of Brown snatching Cash from his crib, Fox Nation host Nancy Grace reacts to those blaming Cash's father. Trevor Girder reportedly fled town to avoid a court hearing, leaving the twin boys with his girlfriend. Because of his criminal record, Grace calls Trevor an easy scapegoat. 1 second. Fell off of there. Hold on 1 second there. Sorry about that. Thank you all for joining me. 38 viewing. As I stated, Trevor Darryinn reportedly fled to avoid a court hearing, leaving the twin boys behind. With the girlfriend, because of his criminal record, Grace calls Trevor an easy scapegoat. She argues Brown, oh mercy, wants to keep falling off. Hold on. One second. I won't stay in queue. Grace scapegoat. She argued Brown. He was gonna get this boy one way or another, taking blame off Trevor for leaving his sons alone. And this is a commentary from Nancy Grace. So she's basically saying Brown would have gotten him either way. But I will discuss that with you guys in my commentary, because that comment doesn't make any sense. For 1 second. Thank you all for joining me. 41 viewing. Sorry about this. I don't know why this article is disappearing. Oh, mercy. It's so long with a few little extras thrown in there. Just a second. Mercy. Neighbor surveillance video shows Darren Brown looking for unlocked cars in the area. At a meeting this week with Cash Gurney's local community and Dallas police, multiple community members said they had previously reported Darren Brown to police for suspicious activity, WFAA reports. Brown is the lone suspect in Cash's abduction and murder. One neighbor claimed to have surveillance video of a man who appears to be Brown checking the neighbor's driveway. Footage later showed the man appears according to the neighbor video. The neighbor who declined to be identified later picked out Brown in the police lineup when he was arrested in connection with Cash's death. Dallas pleaded with police for quicker response time. Before they can take a child into the care. So we want to work with them to just put them to rest, but the family isn't cooperating with us at all. They're just sending nasty messages. They blame my brother, they blame my mother for not taking them instead, she continued. Police uncovered suspected murder weapon. After searching the Dallas home that Cash was taken from, police believe they found the weapon Brown used to kill the 4-year-old boy. CBS 11 News reported that investigators found a tissue paper in the bathroom that had blood drops on it. A small pocket knife was also located and seized. Cash's body was found with multiple stab wounds, causing the Dallas County medical examiner to rule his death a homicide. What was Cash Gurney's cause of death? Cash's body was found in a dumpster by a local jogger. I don't know why they're saying that in this article, because of my understanding, he was found in the street. And it also says he was shoeless and shirtless. The Dallas County medical examiner confirmed Cash Gurney's death was a homicide result of multiple stab wounds, CBS DFW reported. Trevor Gernon released a statement in his sister's YouTube video. Father of Cash, Trevor Gernon released a statement about the incident on his sister's YouTube channel. In it, he says, I have paid the most ultimate and painful price for my poor judgment, and I have to live with this devastation every single day. He is tearful as he recounts the death of his son. Cash's twin brother Carter is now with the mother, reportedly living in Houston. What is Darren Brown's bail set at? So far, in this case, Darren Brown has been charged with kidnapping and burglary. He has not been charged for the murder of Cash Gernon at this time. Authorities expect additional charges to come to light once forensic evidence is obtained. Brown is currently being held on a $1.5 million bond. What rumors did the police dispel about Cash's death? After the 4-year-old was killed, many rumors were circulating about the crime, and the local Dallas police sought to put the inaccuracies to rest. Police believe he did act alone, Brown, and no one else was involved. There were also speculations that Brown was wearing an ankle monitor, but this was false. An ankle monitor was not a condition of his previous release after he was arrested for evading police, which was his previous charge. Neighbors demand police reform following the violent crime. Members of Cash's neighborhood spoke up during a meeting called by Councilman Casey Thomas to address Cash's death. Many attendees spoke up about how it takes too long for police to respond to calls because of the distance from the police station. Dallas Police Chief Eddie Garcia spoke about responding to the call about finding Cash's body, saying, "When I drove from the headquarters, I didn't realize how far this would be." Other neighbors chimed in that they had reported Brown to the police multiple times before his arrest with no follow up. One such neighbor asks, "How do we make sure that this doesn't happen again? We called a month ago and now a child's dead." Police and local politicians addressed the neighborhood following Cash's death. On Monday, Dallas Police Chief Eddie Garcia, Councilman Casey Thomas, and City Manager T.C. Broadnax spoke to nearby residents at the Park in the Woods Recreation Center Monday night. Thomas called the meeting, labeling it a night for healing. Thomas addressed the crowd, saying, "We're hurting, we're hurting." And when I asked for the city leaders and our police to be here, they came knowing they were needed. Garcia said, "When I got the call, I was angry as an officer and I was angry as a father. If you need verification for the information I just brought you, the U.S. Sun is the source." Thank you for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during the live. Thank you all for joining me. This is a baffling story. I'm going to go ahead and get into my commentary. 22 minutes in of reading, or at least 19 minutes or so. Thank you all for joining me. I'm going to start off with, they're saying he did not have an ankle monitor on at the time of the kidnapping and death of Cash Gernon. We keep hearing conflicting stories. Is it true or not? Trevor is wanted on 5 felony bonds at this current moment out of Harris County, Houston, Texas. This is the biological father. This shows to me he never really cared about his children, because what type of person would continuously have to keep getting bonds? Are these bonds with the same bondsman? I'd like to know. He's wanted on drug charges, stealing a car. Did he borrow it or he didn't return it? Which is it? To some, it's theft, or most. You take a car, you don't return it. Or did he steal a car that didn't belong to some random person? Wanted on fraud. Who did he defraud? Stole someone's identity, perhaps? He has been a busy bee, and yet this is the person who was raising these said children. He says people want him in jail. Really? Who are those people? And why would they want you in jail, sir? Because you abandoned your children? Or it's because perhaps you've been breaking the law and you deserve to be in jail? 5 felony bonds, that's a lot. And as I said, are these bonds with the same bondsman? Because if you have the same bondsman, he's a fool to keep letting you get a bond, giving you a bond. But we know we live in a world that's greedy. So that's neither here nor there. You see, Trevor, to me, never cared about the kids because, as I stated, he left the children behind. And you've been avoiding jail allegedly since March, from the words of Miss Sherrod. So to use your child as an excuse because he's now been murdered, that you need to grieve, this and that, people want you in jail, blah, 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 is BS. Don't use your child's death as an excuse for why you don't want to turn yourself in just yet, blah, blah, blah. People want you in jail. Because my thing is, you've been avoiding jail, sir, before the damn kids died. One died and one is now placed with your baby mama. You never cared about your kids. You threw your kids off to go on the run because of a damn charge that you got And obviously, while you were taking care of your kids, you were still out here doing wrong, breaking the law, drugs, fraud, whatever else. No respect for yourself, no respect for your kids. So to use this child's death as an excuse for why you need to grieve this and that, you have not thought of your kids. Because had you cared about your kids, we wouldn't be talking about your kids. Darren Brown would have never gotten a hold of your kid if indeed he is the suspect. It's neither here nor there, and it's lame to even use your child as an excuse that you're grieving. You need to grieve. You abandoned your kids, sir. You took off and did whatever hell you wanted because you didn't want to face the charges that you had ensued on your damn own. And you're foul. And fear what exactly? Fear going to jail? Fear somebody's going to do something to you before you get to the jail? Or fear they're going to do something to you in the jail? But you had no fear before the child's death. Yeah, okay. Cops say they watched the live that was on his sister's YouTube channel. Allegedly, Trevor. But the cops say they cannot confirm that it is him. So what I say to that is, why didn't you call in his baby's mother to ask her, hello, ma'am, is this the father of your children talking? Or someone close to him that could verify? I'm sure they would be leery of his own family, thinking they would probably lie and say, oh, yeah, that's him, to aid him in this ruse of spinning webs and stories about grieving and such so forth nonsense. Cops spoke to him. So we have to say it must have been over the phone because he's yet to turn himself in. So what did he say to you, officer, detectives? Did you try to coerce him into turning himself in to aid into bettering his circumstances as not to get shot or beat up or knee to the neck and being apprehended? Yeah, I said that. What did the detectives say to Trevor Gernon? And did they try to coerce him into turning himself in? But we already know. He turns himself in, that means he goes to jail. That's the purpose of him leaving his children with Mr. Rod, is because he didn't want to go to jail. So why would he now want to turn himself in just because his child is dead? Stay woke. Stay woke. Sorry about that. I don't know. It seemed like it was at a standstill there for a minute. I don't know what's going on with this Wi-Fi. But as I was stating, this is just a ruse with this father and this talking about fearing, having fear. People want him to go to jail. Like I said, he avoided going to jail and threw his kids off on this lady. So to use his child's death now as an excuse is foul and rank because he never cared for his kids. And if he actually cared for his kids, one, he would have never been out here breaking the law, having 5 felony bonds. That means you were committing crimes while fathering these children, raising these kids. Then you threw them off on this woman. Then there's contradiction about when you left. Now they're saying you left a week beforehand. So which is it? Sherrod said you left in March. Now we're hearing in this article a week before the death of your child. And as I stated, it's foul to use Cash's death as an excuse that you want to grieve. You need time to mourn and see the body and this and that. You have no intention of turning yourself in because you avoided the law months ago, allegedly. So why would you want to turn yourself in now? Makes no sense. You're contradicting yourself. You threw your kids off, remember? Because you didn't want to go to jail. So I'm to believe that you're going to turn yourself in after viewing the body. And we already know they would arrest him, Johnny on the spot. This is so disrespectful and just despicable. What did the cops say to him? They say they spoke to him. What did he say? What did he say to the cops? What did they say to him? Did they try to coerce him into turning himself in? What was said? Cops say they watched the live of him on the sister's YouTube channel, but they can't confirm that it's actually him. So why didn't they go find somebody who could confirm it, such as the baby's mother, other relatives? But maybe they were leery about talking to other relatives, thinking they would lie and aid him and say, oh yeah, that's him. Who's to say? Did they try to coerce Trevor into turning himself in for the best interest of himself and his remaining child? But as I state, all this nonsense about grieving, people wanting him in jail, yes. Who might that be? The bail bondsman? As I state, what bail bondsman would constantly bail you out? And only a fool would continuously keep bonding you out. I'm hoping these are 5 different bail bondsmen. It's ridiculous. You need to stop with this nonsense, Trevor. These TV antics. Save this BS for Young and the Restless. I'm bored. Lieutenant Kerry Wise said Brown is guilty of murder. 2, basically. Well, if that's the case, Miss Wise, why didn't you arrest Darryinn Brown? Since you believe he is the sole suspect, there are no other suspects. Well, then why didn't you just arrest him on suspicion of murder? I'll wait. Brown is said to be in the house 2 days before the child got kidnapped and murdered. So who let Brown in the house? Who all was in the house when Brown was there? Are we talking about doorbell cameras viewing him going in the house, coming out of the house, playing with the children? What? Who is the person giving the information? Why do stories keep changing? Did Brown tell on himself that he went there to play with the children? Has he been talking in the jail? Or is it neighbors showing in the house, playing with the kids, yah. Who's been talking pertaining to Brown at that house? It has been said in this article, Brown was an acquaintance to one of the sons. Which son is that? Kamron Mori is the oldest son. So she has 4 children. Which son is Brown the friend of? As I state, this article has now taken the cat out of the bag to say they were once friends in the past. So this is what I want to know. Why does the story keep changing pertaining to the relationship of Kamron and Darryinn Brown? When Miss Sherrod comes home from grocery shopping and finds him in her house, Mr. Brown, she says, I don't want you, which sounds personal. Instead of I don't want you around my kids, you're not welcome here. I don't want you means I don't want you. Sounds like they've had some type of relationship. Sounds personal to me. Because what grown woman would say that to a 18-year-old? I don't want you. Instead of, I don't want you here. You're not welcome here. What are you doing in my house? And as I state, what was said in that house to make her say that if indeed these words are actually true? What did the children say? What did Darryinn Brown do or say in the house? Who let Darryinn Brown in the house 2 days before the child's murder? Who let him in the damn house? And if he was in there acting a fool, talking crazy, doing something salacious, you mean to tell me y'all stood there and watched him? Nobody called 911? Where's the 911? Police call that he was doing something wrong 2 days beforehand. And if we're to believe Nancy Grace's comment that Brown was going to get him either way, well, like I said, had Mr. Trevor took care of his children, kept the job, kept the car, kept the home, those kids would have never been there for Darryinn Brown to pick up, if indeed he is the suspect in the child's abduction and murder. Stay woke. Now, perhaps he is this deviant person, sadist. He was going to get somebody's kid, but he wouldn't have gotten Cash Gernon. Brown has a previous record back this month, the month of April, for evading arrest. For what? What is going to be evading arrest? They wanted to break down for that. Now they're saying he didn't. So who keeps making up the rumors about the ankle monitor? They're saying charge, the release of him being free was not a condition of wearing an ankle monitor bracelet. So why does this keep popping up and then being retracted that it's false? Where are these rumors coming from about the ankle monitor bracelet? This is why I tell you all, you cannot believe everything you hear according to the lie book or YouTube. Trevor left his kids for legal troubles, which means he had a court appearance he didn't attend it because he didn't want to attend it, because 9 times out of 10 he knew he'd be going to jail. My goodness, 5 charges, 5 felony charges. Hell yeah, you're probably going to jail. And they're saying Miss Sherrod hadn't heard from him in a month. But yet she said he left in March. So which is it? The Sun, Daily Beast, Daily Mail? Somebody help me, I'm drowning. Did he leave in March, or has he been there all along? And then poof, voila, disappeared before the child got bludgeoned to death? Or hell, did he leave after the child got bludgeoned to death? I'll wait. Why so many discrepancies pertaining to this storyline with Rod talking, Trevor talking, Mr. Darryinn wearing an ankle bracelet or not? Why does the story keep changing? I didn't know Mr. Brown. I went to school with him, but I didn't know him. Then it went from that to, oh, he was at the house. Oh, he was with one of her children. Oh, he hung with one of Kamron hung with one of Brown's brothers or friends. Now it's, oh, we went to middle school together. Now it's, oh, he's a past acquaintance. A friend ain't nothing. Are you telling on yourself, Kamron? What the hell is going on with you and Darren Brown? Then I hear tonight that someone has told a YouTuber that, or commentators come on a YouTuber's channel, y'all used to hang around and was seen recently, hanging around each other, sitting around each other. So is it because the detectives came to you and told you, hey, we already heard you two are friends or were friends, hung around each other, blah, blah, blah. We got you on surveillance, and this is why you keep changing the story, because every time I go live, I got a different version to bring the public about the situation between you and Darren Brown. So if I'm sitting here and believe this lieutenant lady that he's the sole suspect, then why is every damn day the version keeps changing that your friends ain't friends, knew him, didn't know him, went to school with them. Now it's from that to hanging with him. I'm dead. This is nonsense. The article saying Sherrod's son, Mr. Kamron, is his older brother, Cash's older brother. Yikes. That doesn't sound very good. Now one could say, well, it's no harm. They did live in the house together. Briefly. Then he says he cried out. He's all cried out. Have you cried, Kamron? Because I didn't see you cry on that interview. You covered your face, so I don't know if you cried or not. Carter, the remaining twin, is allegedly in Houston with his biological mother. And as I state, how's that going to work out? If she's indeed a truck driver, does she come home in the evenings? Does she come home on the weekends? Does she stay on the road 2 weeks, 3 weeks out of the month? Which is it? How is she going to provide for these children? This child, when she's been a no-show when one of the children was living. Cash and Carter with this woman for a couple of months. with the father, what, possibly 2 years. You threw your kids off on him, poof, vanished. Now you're only popping up because one's dead. Why is that? Just asking. This article is stating a weapon was found after a search of the house, Cash's residence where he was living. So am I to believe a weapon was found in Cash's house, or was this weapon found in Mr. Brown's house? Because the source I brought you yesterday said it was Brown's house. And the source before that was it was Cash's house. Small pocket knife, tissue with small drops of blood. What are we to believe? What is the truth? Indeed, which house is it? Cash's house or Darren Brown's house? Pocket knife, tissue with blood on it found. Now Mori knows Brown. They went to high school together, middle school together, and were friends in the past. What the hell is this? So when did you two stop being friends? 2 weeks ago? Before the child was murdered? Did you stop being friends the day of the murder? I'll wait. Yeah, okay. Put that on paper. Friends ain't nothing. It's what you said on Monday. Why would you say that, Kamron? You're supposed to be discussing the death of a child. You're making derogatory comments about friendship. As we say in the streets, sober thoughts. Are you telling on yourself? Something popped off between you and Darion? What is the deal? Because this lieutenant believes that it's just Darren that's involved. So let's just say you involved. Did you use him to kill the kid, and then afterwards you had no use for him? He ain't no friend of yours. Because that does happen. People use people to murder people, and then once they've committed the act, they stop speaking to them, stop talking to them, stop taking their calls because they know, oh, they're tapping the lines, they're watching us, we can't be seen together, we can't hold a conversation, we gotta separate. But the rules was to just get you to do the deed, and they were gonna cut you off anyway. Trevor had a court hearing allegedly. The reason why he went on the run, left his kids with Mr. Rod, 5 felony bonds out of Houston area, I believe. Why? Why are you committing all these crimes but had children to take care of? And then you fled and left them with this lady. Why do you keep breaking the damn law with kids in tow? And now you want us to feel sorry for you. Let me ask you this, Trevor Gernon. If you didn't know Miss Sherrod, who the hell would you have left your damn kids with? Oh, y'all didn't ask that question. I told you all, Queen stays woke. I don't leave a stone unturned. Hello, American Cartel. Dear God, please don't do that. What the hell is going on here? Because I'm confused. If you didn't know Miss Sherrod, Trevor, who would you have left your kids with? Help me out. I'm drowning. You could have left them with your mama, grandmama. You didn't go search for the baby mama. So I'm going to say it again. If you had not met Miss Sherrod, who would you have left your kids with? Ding, ding, ding. Guess it would have been some old lucky chick you hooked up with. Ding. I'll be right back. I'm going to get me a pack of cigarettes. Don't come back. Are you that guy? Oh, you're that guy. You're most definitely that guy. You don't give a damn. You don't give a damn. Baby mama don't give a damn. No, none of you give a damn. And then you sit up here and whine on YouTube. If that's indeed you, because as the police say, they don't know if that's you or not. Talking. He wants to feel sorry for you. You left your kids. See, I respect the person that leaving with somebody half-ass responsible. When Sherrod looked doped up in that interview with the Daily Mail, many people are talking. Some don't like what we're saying. Oh well, life's a bitch. You don't want people talking about you? Don't do stupid stuff. That's common sense. All these people are damn near 40 years of age or early 30s. So, hey, you don't want people talking about you? Don't do stupid stuff. Don't break the law. Don't make the newspaper. Just don't do it. Nancy Grace, Miss Animation, says Brown would have gotten the boy anyway. So it doesn't matter. Stop using Trevor as a scapegoat. Now, Nancy. Shut your mouth. I'm going to say this, Nancy. If indeed Darryinn is a sadist, child killer, then yes, he would have gotten somebody's child. It's common sense. But guess what? Ding, ding, ding. Stay woke. He wouldn't have gotten Cash Girder had the bobblehead daddy not left his children with Monica Sherrod. But I get where she's coming from. Oh, Lord. Shouldn't have left the kids there, sir. But birds of a feather flock together. You liked her. You met her. You two had something in common, such as drugs. So you two hit it off. It's common sense. She's getting high. You're getting high. That's your common bond. And if I'm wrong, I'm stand to be corrected. No big deal. But see, the thing about it is, Miss Sherrod don't care about her kids. Because if I believe that she was high on dope early part of the week during that damn interview with the Daily Mail, that leads me to believe you've been getting high. Just like you've been getting high. So you never want to change. You don't want to turn yourself in and do the right thing. Because you see, as Dr. Phil would say, past behavior is indicative of future behavior. And the fact that you were breaking the law 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, while with these boys tells me you don't give a damn. You never have, dude. What fuckface is going to keep breaking the law knowing they got 2 kids to damn raise? Hell, it's not like he's out here robbing banks to feed your damn kids. And then some charge allegedly with you trying to harm your own father, but yet your sister says, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. How the hell is a man a good guy and he will harm his own damn daddy? I don't care if your daddy cussed you out. Talk to you like a dog. Walk away. Remove yourself. Remove yourself. Just remove yourself. That's what you have to do with some people, especially your family. You want to disrespect your parents, you just remove yourself. Miss Wise, the Lieutenant Wise says Brown is the lone suspect for the abduction and murder of Cash Gernon. Do we believe this? Is this a ruse? Or she's just saying that so they can take attention off somebody else who possibly is involved so they don't think that the police is going to come get them? I don't know. The public wants a quicker response from the police department. As you see, one of the superiors said he didn't know that the headquarters was that far from the location of the neighborhood. What the hell do you mean? Gee, Wally, how long have you been on the job working? You didn't know how far away it is. Hell, a city is a city. I grew up in Chicago. So from one side of town, it takes a while to get to the other side of town. And when you live in smaller areas like where I live here in Tennessee, you drive 30 minutes, you're in a whole nother city. In Chicago, you drive 30 minutes, you're still in the same damn city. So explain to me why you all did not respond to these people calling about Darryinn Brown. So what you want them to be? Vigilantes? Then that'd be a whole nother storyline. Citizens take the law into their own hands. Beat black boy to death trying to break in cars, break in houses, break in fences. Yeah. Good luck, citizens of Dallas, Texas. You all have major problems. Your own damn police can't even show up. And you would think after several calls of the same description and neighborhood, the police would say, oh, we've got a problem here. We need to get there. Hey, let's think about this for just a second. Could it be that Mr. Brown could have been deterred had somebody showed up, caught him in the act, took him to jail? Maybe he'd say to himself, okay, I need to straighten my butt up. We'll never know because that never happened. Nobody ever came. How many calls were made to the police department pertaining to Darryinn Brown in the past couple of months? Hell, the past year. And as I state, the weapon that was retrieved after the search of the house where Cash lived, was it retrieved from Cash's home or Darryinn Brown? I'm getting conflicts about that. Someone mentioned dumpster in this article. Why is that being mentioned now all of a sudden, 2 weeks in, is a mystery to me. Very strange. Did Brown act alone? Because Lieutenant Wise is saying that he did, and they don't suspect anyone else. Is this true? How does a cop know that he acted alone? Rumors are circulating that somebody else could be involved. I heard somebody chitter-chattering about somebody else. Facebook rumors. I keep telling you all, quit listening to that lie book. You go on Facebook and go to somebody's post talking about this and that, and then you come back and spread it like it's the truth and it's the gospel. But you don't have any verification. Who was there that night? Who's all involved? Because now Lieutenant is saying Darren Brown is the sole suspect for the abduction and murder of Cash Gernon. Do we believe this or we don't? Is this information coming from surveillance cameras in the neighborhood? Somebody just saw him alone going and coming in that house, coming out with the kid, leaving with the kid. So this is why she's making this claim. Or do we have an eyewitness? No ankle monitor on Darryinn Brown at the time of the abduction and murder. Why do we keep hearing conflicts about this? Why does it keep popping up in the storyline, in these articles? And that monitor was not a condition for release of his last charge. Just so you know. Why is it every day there's a different version pertaining to Kamron, Mori, and Darryinn Brown? I'll wait. Dude, are you friends with him or not? Were you friends with him at the time of the child's abduction? Had he been at the house that morning? Did you two talk, conspire? You want the boy out of the way? You were jealous of this kid? This is what some of the people in the chat were saying. They think possibly, Mr. Moore, that you're jealous of the two twins. Your mother doted on them more. She cared for them more. She liked them more. You were jealous. Maybe some of your other siblings were jealous of the kids. You planned this. You used Mr. Brown. He's underdeveloped mentally. He's a good patsy. Help me knock off this damn rambunctious kid. Did it happen like that? What really happened in that house? The house of horrors, indeed. What happened in that house? Why one kid and not the other? Am I to believe he actually returned in daylight savings time to take another kid that he didn't take? What would have prevented him from taking the other kid? He boldly walked in one time, so you all say. Walked back in hours later. It's a pretty brazen person, don't you think? but he didn't come in looking the way he first looked. Why is that? I'll wait. What is the relationship between Kamron and Darryinn? Miss Sherrod and Darryinn. Darryinn had Cash and his brother, Darryinn and the other children at the house. Was Kamron friends with Darryinn Brown at the time of the abduction and murder? Cash Gernon. Why does this narrative keep changing from day to day? Every time I go live, I have a different version pertaining to the relationship between Kamron, Mori, and Darryinn Brown. It is now being said Brown was at the house 2 days before. Yet in the beginning, Mr. Mori on TV, getting his 5 minutes of fame, is telling us, no, 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 no. It's random. Don't know him. Went to school with him, don't know him. Now it changes from that to he was at the house days before. Went to school with him, but didn't know him. Now it's playing with the kid in the house. So Miss Sherrod says. The kids feared or were threatened by him or felt some type of way, but yet never called the police. Now it's, he's a former friend of yours. What the hell is going on? Why are you throwing shade at him? Because possibly you were his friend, you were his buddy, and this could be orchestrated by you, Kamron. Something is fishy. Because what I have to ask myself is this. If I'm going to believe that Darryinn Brown is the sole suspect, I have to question why the versions keep changing of the relationship between he and Kamron Mori. There's something to that, whether a person wants to believe it or not. And perhaps Kamron is not involved in this crime. Perhaps Miss Sherrod is not involved. Perhaps none of the children are involved. But you always have to ask yourself, why the hell would the story keep changing pertaining to the relationship of the oldest child, Kamron Mori, and the suspect, Darryinn Brown? This is utter BS. Thank you all for listening. This is sickening and baffling. Well, he may have, Elisa, but the sad part is things keep changing day to day, and I can't sit up here and just think that nobody else could possibly be involved when you keep changing the narrative of I knew him, I didn't know him. I know him, I know him. Why lie? Because if we're to believe that Darren Brown did all this on his own with no help from any person from that house or outsider, why do you keep changing the version of knowing Darryinn Brown? You have nothing to lose. You have nothing to hide. So you have no reason to lie to authorities of your relationship with Darryinn Brown. Do these people know him or not? You hung with him? You ate with him? What did you do with him? Did you coerce him? Did you give him drugs? Is this a drug-related situation? What is it? What is it? Because I'm sick of this now. One weekend, and we're playing hopscotch on who the hell knows Darryinn Brown. We got a dead baby who can't even get in the cemetery and be buried properly. Foolishness. Sickening. Yes, I'm going to drop the link. And if you want to come on, Every day is something. Can't keep up. Hold on one. Sorry about that. This buffering here is horrible. Okay, I'm going to drop the link, you guys. Please be respectful to the hostess, the mods, and the chat. When you comment, do not use profanity in the chat or on the live stream. Thank you so much. If I can get it up. It's being lazy. That's a sign. Too late to be doing this. Hope you all are well out there. What are you guys doing up this late? Lord have mercy. This true crime conversations is just wearing me out because it's just sad to even be having a conversation about murder of a child. It's just disrespectful. Disrespectful to the soul. All right, let's give it a whirl. Come on down. Give me what you got, everybody. What do you think about the latest updates? If we're going to believe that this information is truthful and factual, that Darren Brown is the sole suspect for the abduction and murder, and they're waiting on forensics to reel him in as a suspect. No other suspects. They don't believe there are other suspects, Lieutenant Wise says. And Kamron and Darryinn were friends. Let's hit the link. Give it to me. Hit the link, you guys. One of you in the chat sent me this information on my community board. That's the reason why I'm up late, giving you this information. Other than that, honey, I was watching my Roku. Trying to anyway. Should be in the bed. The devil's never going to let anybody sit down and sleep with this type of foolishness going on. You can believe that. The devil's like, oh no, I want y'all to stay up. I got some hot tea for y'all pertaining to them clowns out there in Texas. Hit the link. I'm 1 hour in. I didn't want to try to stay on long, but that information I had to bring you was winded. It was a recap of most of the commentary I had already brought to you guys in the past week. Most of the things you'd already heard before, but naturally they want to keep, recapping everything to keep people abreast, because there are people out here who have never heard of the story, never heard of the child being murdered and left for discarded in a public street in Dallas, Texas. So naturally the article is winded. It's sad and it's tragic. It's horrific because he was 4 years old. He didn't know anything. He, new to the world, just a child being a child. He didn't deserve this. There's no reason to even murder a child. He didn't deserve this at all. Officer Reiser was a cop. They led patrol for 4 years while they lay low, investigated him for murder. It was the same police department. Okay. A cartel, what are you talking about? What's going on? Y'all got me. I don't know what they're talking about down there. Hello?
Hey, Angela, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Okay.
Thank you for the updates on this story. It is truly become a circus, like I said it was. And I said that the story would change every day because
That's okay,
nobody in the
Cartel. I just didn't know what you're saying. I'm trying to keep up with everybody speaking, so I don't even know what what your point is. I mean, you're welcome to come up on the stream if you can be respectful to us and give your commentary. Everyone is welcomed. Um, I'm trying to. Some people think I'm a little rough around the edges. I always ask everybody what they mean. That's just what I do when you all come up and give your commentary, especially with a story like this, because everybody's got a different version of what they think happened. So I'm going to always ask you why, who, why. You know, that's just how I am. So I'm giving you a forewarning, Mr. Cartel, before you come up. Go ahead, Night Out.
Yes, ma'am. We love you, Angela. You know I love you. Um, and the story changes daily because nobody in the story is telling the truth.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
nobody is telling the complete truth from day one, from when
Okay.
this tragedy took place to now.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
let me ask you this. Why do you think the versions keep changing from day to day about Cameron Mori's relationship with Darion Brown? Why do they say in the articles that police are trying to figure out how she identified him? That makes no sense to
because I think the police know that Sherrod and her son didn't tell the truth, and they are
me.
investigating. And upon investigating, they're gonna talk to people in the neighborhood. They're gonna talk to family members, and I think that they're getting different stories about the friendship between these two young men, and it's
Mhm.
conflicting with what Sherrod said for her to be able to identify somebody she didn't know, and now she told him to get away. I mean, it changes. You
Mhm.
if you look at the interviews, her story changes in the interviews. The son,
Mhm.
it changes. One minute we don't know him, we
Yeah.
might have known him. I mean,
Mhm.
the truth don't need no help. And when you're lying, you constantly have to cover yourself, but you never know who the police is talking
Well,
to.
you do because that's the thing about being interrogated. You don't know what they're going to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to
Right.
come up with something once they catch you in a lie and then say, well, no, that's not true because of blah, blah, blah. So then you got to sit there and think, okay, how am I going to get out of this?
Exactly. And that's why they don't know how all of this took place. If it wasn't for the cameras that they
Mm-hmm.
had there, I don't think we would have even had this much information. It just would have been her babbling and
But do you even
rambling.
believe that this is true? Do you, because a lot of you all don't think it's a setup. A lot of you really think uh, some of these people in this house are in cahoots with uh, uh, Darren, that they used him. It could be that they gave him drugs because he's mentally disabled. Because, like I said, we don't have any verification of what his mental issues are because that
Right.
agency, Metro Services, serves different mental issues. So we
Correct.
don't have clarification of what's wrong with Darion. But we know he likes to pick up things that don't belong to him.
Right. I think it is something. I don't think he acted alone. I think
Okay.
that this was planned
Okay.
for a while because see,
Somebody.
even a mental person, right, that likes to pick up things, right?
Yeah.
A
Yeah. Yeah.
mental
Yeah.
person doesn't go from picking up items to picking up people and
Yeah. That's what I'm
confident
thinking.
that they can pick up a child, do
Yeah.
harm to the child, and return to the
Then
scene of
come
the
back and
crime.
come back to the house. Yeah, like it's nothing. So that makes you think, okay, he's either a cold-blooded Negro or he is really sick.
Right. And I said from day one, what person y'all know goes in a house, they don't know, and these it was multiple people in this house now, which
Yes,
people
yes, yes.
don't understand. Why would a young man,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that all them people in the house know he can go in there and pick up a kid, do harm
But you
to the
know what? That's
kid,
right.
and
We didn't
come
even
back?
address that. We didn't address that. We just saying everybody sleep. But we didn't think about somebody got to go pee pee. And then they're saying something about her parents were there or a father or mother lived there. What the hell are we saying?
Which makes no sense. Which makes
Oh,
no
mercy.
no predator, no
Just
sexual offender.
across the path with somebody going to the restroom, getting a soda pop. You can't just assume everybody's going to be in the house sleeping 4:50 something in the morning. There's always somebody getting up doing something. Somebody's playing a video game. Somebody's talking on the phone. Somebody's
Right.
taking a smoke break, pee break, something. Because everybody
Right.
lives.
And let's keep in mind, if those kids was up, am I to believe everybody was asleep but the kid?
Well, we already know Carter was walking into that room and Darren was on his heels. If we are to believe this is actual time on that video, where the hell was
Mhm.
Carter coming from at almost 5 in the morning?
Right.
He went to the
So we
bathroom?
have to, is the kids up? Have do the kids have a routine of being up this time of morning alone?
Well, that's
Uh,
why I keep telling people we don't know these people. That's why you can't
right,
speak on who they are because we don't know them.
exactly.
We don't
And
know
that's
their
why I
habits.
said none of that makes sense. I don't care how
Yes.
they slice and dice it. None of that makes a little sense because a sexual predator
But you know, that's
looks
creepy.
for the person they're gonna attack to be alone, which means no witnesses.
Right.
So if
No
my soul
Calvary.
is gonna harm you, why would I take a chance in going into a house full of people when I could wait at night and get somebody walking along the streets? Or I can
Well,
go
that is
hide out
so
in some
true.
bushes.
Thank you, Cartel. But you know that's so true, and we haven't touched on that. That's why I said when a story like this have all this shenanigans going on, there's so many things you don't think of in the story. So this is one of those key points. Here is a house full of people allegedly. What fool is going to risk walking through this house like they live there? Because you know I call it gangster. You are gangster when
Mhm.
you can just walk up in somebody's house and take their damn child up out of there and then bring your ass back up in there and act like, oh, it's daylight savings time. They ain't gonna see me. Dude, you black. They white. I'm dead.
And keep in mind, I'm going to get a child. If the child is startled, sees a stranger, they're gonna holler, scream, make a sound, something.
Well, some believe Carter
But
knew him too.
I'm just gonna get the child. I know that I ain't got no chloroform. I ain't got no nothing to put over their face. No nothing to knock them out. I'm just gonna go in there and get this baby with 1,000
And that
people in
was
the house.
definitely, and that time was definitely dope fiend hours. 5 in the morning, you know you up to no good. You creeping in somebody's house at 5 o'clock.
And you bold not to know that I can get shot going in these people's house and Texas is staying your ground. See, it's too many chances he don't took. And everybody like, oh, well, that's all right. He just thought he a mastermind. Come on now.
Right, right. Yeah. Very
Serial
true.
killers
Very true.
plan how they're gonna kill. You mean to tell
Well,
he
they watch.
today
First
is
of
the
all,
day?
first of all, a serial killer rapist is a predator by watching. That's what a predator does. That's what an animal does. Animal just don't pounce on another animal. She watches. They watch first. So let's go there. If he
Right.
didn't know them, wasn't friends with nobody at the house, didn't date the mama, sleep with the mama, wasn't drug related, did he just stand and watch these people to know I can go through this garage door and waltz myself up in here? I know where these children might be, what side of the house they might be on. They got a lot of people in here staying. I know which rooms they in. See, it makes no sense.
And that's what I said day
There's
one.
no way you would know that.
No person who's unfamiliar with somewhere just planned it in their head, not
Yeah,
knowing what
yeah,
could
because
go
he's been in
wrong.
there.
A
Darren
killer
Brown has been in
thinks
Sherrod's house.
of what can go wrong, and a killer is not gonna bring a knife.
Yeah,
They bring a
I got a friend
gun, or
who's
they're
been
gonna
there
bring
before.
a bat
Uh,
or something.
he's been in that house probably before the 2 days beforehand since that life changed.
The layout, everything, like I said before, was too convenient for him to get the baby. Everything was just so convenient. Just everything about the story
Well,
is
you have
so
to admit,
convenient.
because really it's the perfect crime, except for the video surveillance. You walked in, looked around, took the kid, left. He held the kid like he had a boo-boo diaper. Yeah, I said that. Because the way he held him was the back of his head facing his face. That's not the way you hold a child. That's the way you hold a child is use the restroom on themselves and they stink. Here, you
Yes,
take them. I don't want them. Here, you change his diaper, her diaper. You get my drift?
right.
You don't hold a child with their head facing your face. You don't do that. You don't do that. And if
especially when
indeed
you're
he
gonna be
takes care of
home.
his cousins, like his mother says, he would know how to hold a child. He would hold the
I,
child like you pick up a child. They wrap their legs around you, blah, 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 so forth and so on.
he would have had a blanket or something to get the child out and run out as fast as he could.
Well,
Cover the child up
he didn't,
so the child wouldn't see
he,
him. All
he didn't grab a blanket. He didn't do nothing. And they said the child was found shirtless and no shoes, naturally, because he was in his bed.
hmm So that's why I don't believe he acted alone. I believe this was planned.
Okay, so
It, it,
uh, you're going to have to explain why, who, how long.
that son,
Okay,
like with this,
why?
it's
Well,
something
why?
with that son.
Why?
Jealousy. Can't stand them. They getting on his nerves, taking all mommy's attention, whatever attention he's getting from mommy. But and she got these two little rug rats, and I don't mean to say that disrespectful, and they getting all the attention. She doting on them. They her babies. I'm not the baby anymore. I'm gonna get rid of him. Something was going on with them kids in that house.
Okay.
These are crackheads, meth heads, dope heads. So whatever little attention she was able to give him, he wasn't getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the money that he was getting to do whatever he does went to the kids to get a box of cereal or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something that he had a hatred or something for them kids. It's some about him with a hatred towards them kids.
Okay.
That's why I think it was planned. I can't stand. I want to get rid of them. They just here. They crying all the time. They watch the cartoon. I can't
Well,
watch
how he get?
TV.
Well, how he get Darren to do it then?
They were friends.
You think
They
he
had
offered
a.
him money?
It was dope. It was either dope or money. This a trap house.
Okay.
Dope or money. So that's why I believe it was planned. It was too convenient. Nothing
Okay. Chantel
goes.
says Cameron said in the walkthrough of the house that's where they slept there that night. Sounded strange. I get what you're saying. I think somebody else made a mention of that too. Like they only slept there that night, but normally they slept somewhere else. So where would the other place be? Because that house was decrepit to me. Sorry.
My question is, why did they sleep there that
Thank
night?
you, American. Thank you, sweetheart. I'm gonna check here in just a second. Hold on. Say what not out?
That's a good. That's another point. Well, why were they there that night? What made
You mean
that night the night?
in that makeshift room?
hmm I mean, what happened
Good
that
question.
they had to be there that night? Nobody said. So what's been going on that night they had to be there? What's been going
Thank
on
you.
that night that I could throw two babies over here that
Thank you,
night?
Cartel. Thank you so much, sweetie. Well, see that's the thing. It's
I love them so much, but you know what? I'm gonna throw them over here tonight.
yeah.
Two babies?
Well, I'm gonna throw you in this room that ain't got nothing in it that's decrepit looking, but a little tiny bed for two babies to sleep in. It looks like a makeshift room with a damn regular door in it that goes to the outside and looks like that room those kids slept in looks like a living room. And you tell me you care about these kids, but they not even near you? Why are you not? Why are the children's room not next to your room, Miss Sherrod? Come on now, don't play with the
That
queen.
night. That night. See, because we gonna use that night. Well, what went
Well,
on that day that y'all
well,
came up with
it's a
that
setup that
night?
it was probably. I don't care what that lieutenant lady talking about. If it was a setup, that's why it was that night. They were in that big old room by themselves. Don't you know that's a room that I would put a teenager in, or two older teenagers? If they, let's say I had two older boys or two older girls, which is so ever, that would be a room I'd put them in. But basically, that looks like a family room. It's a family room. It's a damn living
Because if
room.
we right, if we go with that narrative, then she was negligent.
Goofy ass
But
lady.
but she a good parent and She taking kids and the daddy
Man, that lady was geeked
and the
up. That lady
daddy
was geeked up during that interview with the Daily Mail. I looked at it again the other day. And those eyes were about to fall out her damn skull.
about to
It
roll
bulging
out.
out her skull. It's ridiculous. She was sweaty. I told y'all in my live last night. You didn't come on last night, but I told Air Force, I said, this lady was a hot, sweaty mess when she said, oh, stop it. We need to stop it. I won't talk about it no more. That lady was on like Donkey Kong. She was on during that interview. It's ridiculous.
The eye about to roll out, biggest salsa plate.
Okay, I was noticing how Cameron hair was pressed down like a sweatband was around his head in the walkthrough. Yeah, kind of like the person's hair was during the initial video. Yes, something is
Mhm.
fishy.
That's why the
Something is,
story changes. Because now if we remember when she first talked about this deadbeat daddy, he
yeah,
left for some pills, a pill. He left because of a charge about some pills. But
yeah.
now we found
That's
out
why I'm
five
saying, what was
felonies.
it? Because, like as Nancy says, she's saying, well, he wasn't selling, he was using. Okay, well, if you use it, well, damn, how many pills did you have? But then it says that Sherrod says that they weren't his pills, they were somebody else's. So why the hell would you need to go to rehab for somebody else's damn dope? You just tell the judge, hey, I was in Pookie's car, we were riding around, police pulled us over, and they happened to search under my seat, and they were under there or in the cushion, but I swear they weren't mine, they were somebody else. And then you pray that your ass can get out. The hell's going
And
on?
another
Stupid.
thing people need to look at, five felony charges, five different bails.
Oh
He
yeah,
has
yeah, yeah.
jumped bail.
That's grabby right there. Five felony bonds. They made sure to put that five felony felonious. You've been a busy bee, but yet you're somebody's father and supposed to be rearing somebody's children, your own
You
children, matter
better
of
than the
fact.
mother. And that story makes no sense because if we to believe what Sherrod said, he got the kids, had custody of the kids, and then the biological mama. I've been looking for him. I've been looking for him.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, we don't
something
have
don't
no proof that she looked for him because, like I said, let's say she had visitation rights. If indeed he's the sole custodian, you would have gone to the family court. There's an agency you go to where you have to pay your child support, all that. You would have told them that, hey, I can't reach him. He's not answering the phone. I have visits this weekend, tomorrow, however it goes. And they would have followed suit and tried to contact him. Once they didn't get no contact, they would have probably issued him to come to court.
which means he don't jump bail. He's a felon. He got custody. We gonna believe all this?
Well, as they
All
say,
these people is
when in
sketchy,
Rome.
and all these folks is lying, and these kids didn't stand a chance. Like I said, from day one,
I
all
don't
of
know.
them fell. Cause I'm gonna believe that you looking for him. He said he got custody. Nothing. No Amber Alerts. No be on the lookout. No nothing.
Oh Lord
No
Jesus.
nothing. None of that makes sense. None of it makes sense. I don't want to hear nothing about no YouTube. And he don't wrote a Dear John letter and he grieved. I don't care nothing about that. That baby was grieving. Every day they was left
Well,
in that trap house.
let's
They
say
were
this.
grieving.
What if indeed the weapon was found at Cash's house? That would be very jacked up because, as I state, we do not know where, if indeed Darren is the killer, where he killed the child, stabbed the child. We just know he discarded him in the street allegedly, but we don't know. You know, people trying to go toe to toe with me last night about walking 8 blocks, 3 blocks with a kid. Like I tell them, if you don't really know what happened, you don't know if there
Right.
was a car involved. You don't know if Darren Brown has a car. You can't say somebody walked 8 blocks or you did it before. Like I tell people, city blocks is not the same as country blocks, such as New York and Chicago.
Right.
Those blocks are not the same as a block in a smaller city. Okay?
Right.
You talk about walking a New York City block versus a country block. It's a total difference. Now factor in I'm carrying a kid. Whether I'm carrying him on my back, under my arm, or I got him walking. It's still winded.
Very much so. And I'm doing a crime, so why would I want to be seen, take the chance on somebody outside, getting ready
A
for
black
work?
man, and let's talk about that. If he didn't use a car and he knew the kid and he told the kid, come on, I'm gonna take you somewhere. You're still a damn black man in the middle of the morning walking down the street with a white boy without no shoes and no damn
In the
shirt. That's what
South.
I'm trying to tell people. Don't argue with the queen because the queen woke.
In the
Game
South.
recognized game. See, what everybody's doing is talking, but they don't think. That's why I stay on you all about thinking before speaking. Think about what you're saying. If you want me to believe he woke up this kid and told him, come on, we get ready to go take a walk. He is a black man walking down a damn city street in the wee hours morning with a child half naked. Come on now.
That's why I said that don't make sense.
And I'm telling you, last night they wanted to argue about, oh, I've done it before. I've walked blocks with babies, this, that, and the other. 8 blocks ain't that much. Oh, it wasn't really
Girl,
8
what?
blocks. It was this. It don't fucking matter. Excuse my language. 3 blocks, 5 blocks, 7 blocks. It is 5 in the damn morning. A black man walking the street with a white baby, whether he walked with him, put him in a radio flyer, a big wheel, skateboard. He's still a black man walking down the street carrying a white ass kid with no damn shirt on, no shoes. You don't think that looks suspicious? What the hell you gonna say to a cop if he pulled up and you had him on your back, on your shoulder, carrying him howsoever? Right. Stay
right.
That's why I tell people, I'm not what you want. You try to argue with a 50-year-old black woman about something that don't make no damn sense at 5 in the morning with a black man carrying a white ass kid around. And you want to argue with me about 8 blocks ain't that far to walk with a kid. Okay, then.
All right.
Because obviously you on a whole nother plantation than I'm on.
They are. Because we know better. What?
That's why I tell people, think before you speak. Think about what you're saying. Not try to be mean, but I always tell you that. Think about what you're saying. If you're going to say, he got the kid up, he walked outside with the kid and said, come on, we'll take you somewhere. He is a black man walking around with the kid half dressed. Even if he was white with the kid, you still would look suspicious at 5 a.m. White man, white baby, half dressed. Damn. What you don't get about that?
Exactly. In the South,
Jesus.
in
What the hell is
Texas,
wrong with you
and
people?
he ain't gonna run into nobody, but they're just normal. Y'all find that normal. That's crazy. That don't even make sense.
Jamie Smith says, I also find it strange that in her interview, she says that she told DB he was being a creep and go home. If you hear audio of the video, they say DB is talking to himself and it says the same words. Yes, I did hear something about that in the video. So what you trying to say? That was Miss Sherrod talking to him in the room while he's in the commission of looking at another child to kidnap? Stay woke.
I'm telling you, it was planned. It was planned. Everything about that night. And somebody brought up a good point. I think that was night 4 last when you were on, when they were like, what if he had been there all that night?
Yeah. I think it's someone else and the video isn't of that day. Yes, a lot of us feel like that. It's chopped up, it's orchestrated, doesn't have a time stamp to say, May such and such, this, and this time, because naturally a video probably run on military time. It ain't got none of that.
That's strange too. A video with no time
Yeah,
stamp,
with no
no date,
timestamp.
no. Yeah, that.
Yeah, they're not timestamp. You show a video, you need to show timestamp because I can't see a video on a monitor. I mean, I don't know how baby monitors run or cameras or what type of camera it was because, like I said, we don't know these people, so we don't know what even type of camera it was. But what I found out is somebody sent to me personally the little boy playing in the floor of that same little dusty room, and there's a little bitty camera all the way down to the ground, almost to the floor. And I
Mm-hmm.
asked myself, why the hell would you put a surveillance camera almost to the ground? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Why would anybody go down a wall and put a small camera down almost to the floor? That's very strange.
Everything about these people is strange though. The whole
Yeah.
layout, the
Somebody,
whole.
somebody sent me that picture. Somebody sent me that picture, and I looked at it and I caught the camera. So what I have to ask myself the night that allegedly that's Darryinn in the night vision and the early daylight, who would go in a room and be looking at the camera unless I was told it was there? But then, like they said, Cameron said the camera sat up high on a shelf, but yet the camera in this footage that somebody sent to me, this little bitty camera is way down, almost near to the floor. Very
Mm-hmm.
peculiar.
And that's why I said it was something about these people is sketchy. I don't care what nobody say. They all sketchy.
Okay,
They
Jamie
all
makes a
lying.
good point. Why would it matter what you said to him days prior? She made sure to put that part in the interview. Well, Jamie, you got to remember something. Allegedly, these people didn't know him day one.
Right.
Stay woke. So you see, sweetie, the story keeps changing day for day.
Mm-hmm.
So who's to say the police talked to her and said, well, we got knowledge that Darryinn has been here yesterday, 2 days ago, 5 days ago on somebody's doorbell camera. You got to be able to now explain why this black man is in your house, but you didn't know him. Your son didn't know him. Well, now you got to come up with a new excuse. Okay. On that day, see, he ran up in the house and was messing with my kids and ting, stay woke.
Mm-hmm.
Stay woke.
That's why the story is changing because nobody's telling the complete truth. And I believe the
Yeah,
police is just letting
yeah,
them talk, talk,
yeah,
talk,
yeah.
talk,
The
talk.
camera, somebody's camera is telling otherwise than the version that they originally gave that they didn't know the man. They don't know him. But as you get footage, let's say, or commentary from outside sources to dispute what you're saying, now you've got to come up with a reason why there's footage possibly showing you or the man coming in and out your house. So how can somebody come in and out your house but you didn't know him?
Right. And they have, and the
Yes,
more the story
maybe
goes on,
yes.
they add, they add, they
Yeah,
add, they add.
yeah. You got because a detective is bringing forth information to say otherwise. That's exactly what's been going on. But they're not gonna tell us that. But that's just to me common sense. Something else has been said. Something else has been said.
Mm-hmm.
Hit the link. 1 hour and 33 minutes in, you guys. Hit the link. You want
Yeah,
to give your
all these folks,
commentary saying
these
into these new
monsters.
updates that he knows Darryinn Brown and that allegedly he's the only sole suspect. Hit the link and tell me what you think. Stop chatting in the chat. Come up, hit the link. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's my commentary on it because, like, I was like, no, all these people are geek monsters.
Okay, Jamie said they hear that they were close. Yeah, I heard that last night too, sweetheart. I heard the same thing. Somebody saw them hanging around each other. But see, that's the thing about life. You don't know who's watching you and listening to you and seeing what you're doing. Trust me, I know. Because everywhere I go and live, folks is nosy as hell.
Right.
They want to figure you out. They want to know what you're doing. They worrying about what you got in the bag. They want to know who car it is that pulled up. There is always somebody watching you. Always somebody eavesdropping by your door if you live in an apartment. People are nosy as hell. And always somebody lurking in the shadows trying to put two and two together. So what you think somebody ain't paying attention to, somebody is.
Mm-hmm. And that's why
Always
the
somebody.
story ever changes.
Right. 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 Out of the blue, they remembered they had a camera. Oh yeah, my mom has a camera. Yes, at least a lot of people are speaking of that, about that newfound. Seems like to me that'd be the first thing you say once you realize the child was missing. Hey, we got a camera in the room. Let's go look at the footage.
Right.
Well, Jamie, just hit the link anyway, honey. Don't worry about it.
And I'm like, that's crazy. And that's why I said everything about that night they were there. That night, everything just fell in place for all of this to have taken place.
Yes. Yes.
Well, we want to know what went on that day and days prior.
Yes. Yeah.
How
That's
many
what's
people
gonna
is
be.
in this house? What was the
Yeah.
daily routine? I don't want to hear nothing about they
Yeah.
got up and watched Mickey Mouse, play ABCs and this,
Yeah.
that, and the other.
Okay. Yes. Well, hocus pocus.
Yeah,
Because I promise
that's
you.
what I want to know about. I want to know, did these kids have play dates with other kids and she don't have them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Well.
that timeline is even off. They were there, but the daddy wasn't there. Then he moved in. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
which
And now
one
it's a
is
week
it?
apart. Now it's 1 week. Now he was there 1 week before the death of the kid. Are you kidding me? So we
Right.
went from her saying it was March he was last there till now, 1 week before the death of the little boy. But see, somebody had said that the other day. Somebody said, Angela, how do you know that man ain't been in that house living with them folks and
Mm-hmm.
just avoided, going to court, blah, blah, blah. I thought about that. Very good point. Very valid point. Because I keep telling you all, you don't know these people. You listen to one person get up here and talk in front of a camera and spin a web about he said, she said, I got the kids with this time, he had court, this, he left, blah, blah, blah. I ain't heard from him. He don't even know nothing. And anybody sit up
Right.
there and listen to all that BS. Now, like I said, I'm not trying to be nasty, but I'm just not getting ready to ride or die with somebody in a story of missing and dead kids or even a grown up. I don't work like that. It's not my style. I don't know you. So I'm not getting ready to aid you. Now, your mom and daddy want to aid you. Your sister and brother, your neighbors, your co-workers want to aid you. That's on them. But Queen don't work like that.
Exactly. Because I said none of it made sense from when they got there, how they got
Yeah.
there, what went on. I want all that information. Because on
Jamie, you
Sherrod
here?
Yes, am I
and
echoing?
her birthday,
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead and finish Night Owl.
yeah, I want that whole background from the beginning. I want to go to the beginning up until how we got here, because none of
Okay.
it makes sense, and all of it's been a bunch of lies and manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
And that young man, he needs to tell the whole truth, whatever it may be, and not just sit there in that jail and play like, "Well, I ain't gonna say nothing." No, you need to say something, because you're
Right.
gonna be looking at the death penalty.
Right. Right. Jamie, where you
So
calling from, baby?
yeah, I live in Indiana, so I'm quite a bit of ways, but I listen
Oh,
to
it's
you all
okay.
the time. So I, s-
Thank
I
you.
that's how I
You
found
what are
out
you?
most of my
You're an hour.
information.
You're about an hour behind me, right?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
almost 6. Yeah, because you're just right below me, not too far.
Yeah, I'm right below you. Tell me what you think about the information I just brought to you that they now are saying they were friends and that he is the sole suspect in this crime, Darryinn Brown. That's what the lieutenant lady is
See,
saying.
I'm not saying that he didn't do the incident alone, but
Mhm.
I feel like in his mental capacity and his mobility and what have you, I just I haven't looked a lot. Like I listen, you know what I'm saying, but I don't feel like it doesn't seem possible to me. But
That
you just
what?
that he could do it alone, like
Okay.
the whole
Okay.
thing in general.
Okay.
I think he was coerced into doing it some way. I mean,
Why?
I, I
Why?
don't know.
Why
I don't
first?
know if I could ever. I've tried to think about why, and I don't think that.
You can't come up with anything?
No,
Nothing.
it just seems weird. I mean, it's strange for anybody to take a kid's life anyway. But I do agree with something that you just said that I was going to bring up. But I think the father himself had been there, was there
Mm-hmm.
prior, and
Mm-hmm.
again was trying to evade the police.
So you think he just left out of there, not 2 months
Yeah,
ago?
I think he left before they called to report the boy missing.
Wow, that's deep. Wow, wow.
Why
That might
would
be
you
the
just?
title of my next live.
I mean, it might seem okay. Like, first of all, it sounds strange that this man. I don't care if you're a drug addict, not a drug addict. If you're alone, it
Yeah,
doesn't matter. You want your kids or not. You don't just randomly leave them with somebody. You know what I mean? So it
but
would seem
people do. But people have done it.
I mean,
We've heard stories of people who just left their
that
kids with
is
people.
true. But why did they
Mm-hmm.
wait so long? Supposedly you didn't get tweakers don't sleep like that. I feel like that they had to figure out a plan and get him out before they called to report the baby missing.
Okay, so then that means it's more to it than just Darren coming in as a sadist messing with babies.
I don't think he initially, from what we see from the video, whichever day it may be, in the video that we see, I
Yeah,
don't feel
that we
like
see.
that was
Amen.
I don't feel like that was the initial plan because
Okay,
I don't think the
Nubian is making
child.
a great point. Excuse, I don't
I
mean to
definitely
interrupt
don't think
you.
the child was asleep. I mean, I don't think the child was deceased by no means. When he picked him up, you could
Okay,
tell he moves
yeah,
or what
because some
have you.
people are saying
But
that. Yes, people are saying that too. Yes,
I
yes.
think there are things that aren't okay with him. Whether maybe there was an accident that happened
Okay,
and he ingested something or something
okay.
happened because the brother moves around freely
Yes,
just fine. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah. Nubian
I've
makes a great point.
it's just
The police
very
saying that to appease the public. That's what I thought today.
yes, so that they feel safe in the neighborhood. I live 30 minutes from where the Delphi girls were killed. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean that we were all on edge for a long time. They say things
Mm-hmm.
to so the public isn't at their door, you know what I mean? It just all seems strange. I can't think of why they would take out the boy. I just think that with the second video, I think something had happened, whether just my speculations,
You're
just
breaking up, baby.
I said just my
Huh?
speculations out of the blue. I feel like something happened.
Oh, at the
And
house. See, we never thought
yes,
about that either. We never brought that up. Was there an
and they
accident?
had to right, and they had to figure out a way to cover it up. So they knew that this baby, well, this
Indeed.
boy,
Oh,
he
that's
was,
that's that's giving me something great to go to
you know what
work
I
on
mean?
right
He's mentally struggling. You know, he has problems. Whether they gave him drugs, because obviously, if you're not
there. Yeah,
mentally sane and then you put drugs on
yeah,
it, you're really not
yeah.
sane.
Oh yeah, of course.
So then the dad, you know, so then they had him, they did that other video because clearly it seems like it's a total different day. So they had to post the other video to make it like, oh, well, he took this kid. Look, he even came back to take the other one. You know what I'm saying? Just to give it a better storyline, I guess. I don't know why.
Well, let's think about something after what you just said. That's got my mind thinking now. Queen is in rotation. Let's just say Trevor has been there all along because guess what? If the courts don't know where I actually stay, I never gave them a forwarding address. Why would I leave my kids with this lady if don't nobody even know I'm with Mr. Rock? Come on, Queen. Because you got to remember, he doesn't have anywhere to live. He doesn't own any property. He's not renting from nobody. And whether he worked for a construction company, got paid under the table, did he give Mr. Rock's address as a verifying place to stay? You understand what I'm saying? Hello? Okay, so lost connection.
She said she lost connection.
But I
That's
want
what
you
I
all
was
to think
about to
about
say.
what I'm saying. Okay, well, think about what I'm saying. If my name is not on a record pertaining to the state, government, the courts, why would I need to go hide out and not take my kids when don't nobody know where the hell I'm at any damn way? Stay woke.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
And when he got them
Because you got
bonds,
to remember one thing, and I just now started thinking about this. He got those charges allegedly, let's say before he got with Miss Sherrod. So that means his address would have been something else before he moved with her.
right, and we need to know what address and who signed helped sign for them bonds that he got and was some kids with him.
Okay, Lord have mercy. Night Owl. You know the kids were with him. She just told us that. She kept them before he fully moved in. Did you not hear that part?
Hold
Hello?
on. I can hear you now. I went out for a bit. It was a delay.
She had the children. She said she had the children before he fully moved in.
Right.
So that means he committed these crimes 9 times out of 10 while he had custody of his children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so therefore, you wouldn't have Miss Sherrod's name on the paperwork unless you volunteered to say, hey, here's my change of address. Most people ain't going to give a change of address knowing they have been in trouble with the law. Why would they do that? Stay woke.
And I would think that if he had five bonds, and he hasn't shown the court or the police, doesn't that mean he jumped bond? And ain't that when the marshals or bounty hunters or somebody come looking for you?
Well, that's what this article just said. He had a court appearance, and that's why he went on the run. Because 9 times out of 10, he knew he'd be facing jail time because of the crimes he's committed and possibly not complying with whatever he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah. So wouldn't that mean the bond would be revoked? Correct.
I guess so.
So yeah, when he be considered a
Mm-hmm.
felon on the run? Yeah.
Bree Love says, I
And
think CPS was coming, and that's why they wanted to get rid of the baby. Jamie's
well,
right.
that's
Anything is possible. And that's why I always tell people you can't defend people you don't know anything about. And once you start hearing stories that a person is using drugs, the other person's using drugs, the other person's using drugs, you might as well cancel Christmas.
yeah.
All bets are off.
Well,
Because now
yeah.
you have
That's why.
something that's damaging in the equation. And whenever you have drugs on the scene, you're now talking about a whole new ball game. You can now factor in other key players into the.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know people. Bottom line.
Yeah, because none of this makes sense. She took in kids and she couldn't get benefits for the kids because they weren't her kids. So she couldn't really financially support them. So how long was she
Well,
gonna
yeah,
keep them?
well, we haven't heard. That's the point I've made. You don't know what's the truth, and now we're hearing a new version that he just left a week ago. Who's telling that? Who is saying that he was there a week before the child died?
Probably some neighbor or a family member. Somebody had to see him or somebody knew her personally.
And that's what I'm trying to tell everybody in the chat. You now have different versions coming out about who knew each other, when they knew each other. Now you're telling me the father's been there all along. Now you're telling me that the son was friends with the boy. When, where, how long? How long ago friends? 5 years ago, 2 years ago, what? Jamie, you back?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know what
What
happened. It just kicked me out. It was
Don't
kind of
worry about
weird.
it. What do you have to say, honey?
I just think, I mean, I don't know if obviously everything they say doesn't make sense and it's all a bunch of lies that are coming together, but I don't know that I necessarily believe that the kids moved in prior to him moving in either. Because
Well, that's it.
I,
That's her version. That's why I keep telling
right.
everybody. Everything about this story is coming from Miss Sherrod.
I just think they're trying to cover as many bases as possible. Because, I mean, if you think about it, your kids found deceased in the street. So, we got a suspect. We're blaming it on him. But now we got to cover all the other charges. Like, okay, well, I'm on drugs and I'm here. Well, no, I wasn't there. I took them there before I got on drugs, or I left because, you know what I'm saying? I just think a lot of it is a bunch of little made up stories to try and cover their selves.
Okay. Do you believe that she is a drug user currently, Ms. Sherrod?
Absolutely.
What about you, Night Owl?
Yeah, she's on something. And then the fact that she lost, after this happened, 2 of her kids don't been removed.
Right. So why would the state take her kids? That's a very valid point too. See, there's a lot to this story. As I said, don't add up. Why would the state take your children because this kid was found dead from your house?
Yeah, right. That doesn't happen. When I was younger, my sister passed away. My baby sister, she passed away from SIDS, and there was 4 other kids, and they didn't take us because, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But so they're not just going to come in and take your kids because, oh, well, this happened in your
house.
Didn't
take her kids. They didn't take your sister's children because 9 times out of 10, somebody said the baby died naturally.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The cops didn't even. Right. The cops aren't going to question any of your other kids if they don't, or take your other children, unless they feel that something suspicious is going on.
As we learned from Cow City, foul play.
Right. Yeah. So I just think it's all a strange situation. I still can't fathom why they would. I mean, I can't think of a motive by no means at all. Because
and let's also factor the fact that she lost her children. She lost her children before. What were the reasons for that?
Probably drugs is what I'm guessing.
So why would the state give her kids back to her?
Right. And with the way that room is, I really think that it's, God forbid, I hope not, but I really think there was nefarious things going on in there.
Such as?
With weird cameras, and I don't ever remember a baby monitor, so they say, or someone's, I don't know, I might have just heard it, where they record and hold your recordings. You know what I mean? I feel like it was recorded on something.
Okay. So what you trying to say? Hanky panky going on in that room, but that didn't make no sense because I don't understand because the camera's all the way down to the ground. I don't know why anybody would put a camera that far down. It's weird.
That's weird, unless it was just randomly placed. I don't know. I didn't see that picture myself. I just heard you talking about it.
My better half will say the bed is low, so I'm gonna put the camera down low. But that makes no sense because you can put a camera anywhere in a room and it should show wherever. Yeah.
Right. It's weird because I almost go to this, take my mind to the fact that, okay, maybe they had it planned out, but then it doesn't make sense to the fact of, I really think an accident had happened or something transpired. Well, I don't know. It's just all super strange. Because there's really no motive behind it. Like, what do you benefit?
Why is Darren's mother coming out saying that is or not her son's backpack?
Yeah, and I feel bad for that poor woman. But at the same time,
it's dark. It's dark in there. How is she gonna know if that's his backpack or not in the dark?
Right. Obviously, she didn't know he was using drugs. If you're hanging out at a trap house, you're probably using drugs. So, if you don't know he's using drugs,
so what you saying? So, Jamie, you saying he was using drugs too?
I mean, you don't normally. I wouldn't hang out at a tweaker's house because I don't do drugs. So,
but let's say he's mentally unstable. Does he know he's fooling with drug addicts?
I mean, that is true, and that goes back, like I said, with him being unstable like that. It was the attention. I think that they used him for. I mean, not like naughty things, but I feel like maybe they used him for different things because attention, like, obviously he has attention-seeking behavior, and with his mental capacity, you know, anybody that's going to show interest of being your friend, he's going to latch on to that, you know.
Relove, what was in the video? Hit the link instead of talking in the chat, you guys. Just hit the link.
Well, I'll get off. I'm going to get the kids' breakfast ready. And, I'm still going to watch. But
okay, that's fine. Thank you, sweetheart. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Bye. Okay, you're welcome. Anytime. Bye-bye. All right. If you want to give your opinion pertaining to the story, just hit the link. Say what, honey?
Yeah, I think she's talking about that backpack. But if the video dark, how she's going to know if that's...
Right, that's what I'm saying. That makes no sense. Everybody's been arguing back and forth about who's who in the video. So his mama ain't about to sit up here and say, Oh, yeah, that ain't his backpack in the dark. She swears he didn't leave the house, so what can I say? I wasn't there, I
Yeah.
don't know. Have no earthly idea. Who called
That's why I
CPS in
say
the first
nothing about
place?
this story makes sense.
Well, I don't know about CPS being called. So that's new information. I have no idea about no CPS call.
Unless they talk about CPS coming to remove those 2 kids.
You all not listening. 9 times out of 10, they came because of Cash's death.
Right.
So it's whatever they found when they went to the house to search, investigate. They made a decision to remove the children. That's why I keep trying to tell people, you don't know how people live. So people ride or die for this woman and talk about what she did, didn't do. She ain't involved, her son ain't involved. Well, since you know so damn much, why the hell her 2 kids was taken?
Because she's unfit.
Relove says it looks like a trap house. Okay, Jamie, have a good day, baby. That's why I tell people, think about what you're saying. That's why I always question you all when you say something. I want you to think about what you're saying, because a lot of times we jump to the gun and think stuff, but then we don't thoroughly really think it out. And see, I always stick to what's been said, because I always tell you the truth is in the beginning of the story. Why
Right.
would the state come take your fucking kids?
Because you're unfit. They don't come get your kids because a crime has been committed. You're unfit.
I did everything I could. Blah, blah, blah. I lost them before. I sold this. I did this. You sold what? That don't make no sense. You sold what to get your kids back? Why would you need to sell anything to get your kids back? I'll wait.
Yeah, because selling doesn't get your kids back. You have to go through a list of requirements, and selling stuff don't normally be on there. Nothing about selling nothing.
Well, that comment didn't make any sense. I don't know where she was taking that, but my thing is sometimes it's best to keep some things to yourself.
But when you're a tweaker, you want to talk.
And that's what that tweaker did. She talked too much.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't want to hear nothing about who going to the funeral, who ain't going to the funeral.
Nubian says child endangerment. Indeed. But see, you don't know what else was found in the house. I tell y'all, stay woke.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody think they know what the hell's going on. You don't know what was found in Monica Sherrod's house when they went there to search because of the disappearance of the child and then the murder of the child. How the hell you don't know they found drug paraphernalia? Stay woke. Could be anything up in there. Soiled sheets, not clean, clothes piled up. I could have sworn I saw clothes sitting in the floor. But looking at all of that. You got running water, hot water. You have food in the refrigerator. Is it unkempt? Does it smell? Stay woke. Why didn't none of the neighbors ever call the people prior to this? Because clearly that house and them are a total wreck. Well, Jamie, people don't know what's in your house. Just because it looks okay on the outside don't mean you know it's okay on the inside. So if they've never been in her house, they have no reason to call about her house. That is what? Clutter. A lot of people are clutter, hoarders.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has to go
We
in there to
don't know if the
say
kids went
it's
outside
unsanitary.
dirty or
Yeah. I
nothing.
mean, somebody has to know that it's unkempt, it's unsafe to call, city inspector, police, adult protective services, whatsoever, CPS. They had beds in the garage, and them poor babies put in a cot bed to share. Well, Tracy, it was a child's bed, Tracy, not a cot. I guess y'all call it cot over there, but it was a toddler. It was a baby bed converted into a toddler's bed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because most 4-year-olds don't share a bed. They have their own little separate bed.
Well,
because they're getting older, they're getting bigger, you know.
Jamie, it's no big deal. I do this with everybody. Some people get offended, but I always just tell people to think before you speak. Not being mean, just saying when you say something, you got to try to make it make some sense. Because everybody's just throwing stuff out there, but you got to realize when you speak it, does it make any sense to you? Because anybody can bring up a hypothesis and say, well, I think this happened. But it takes somebody else to say, well, why would they do that? And what about this? And what about this? And see, those are certain things in the this and the that you're not factoring in. So you have to ask yourself, does it make sense what I'm saying? The scenario doesn't make sense. But I've learned also too in these type of situations, it ain't gonna make no sense no damn way because it's wrongdoing and it's of the devil. It's the way it goes. I believe Cash was dead before he was even taken out of bed. And yes, the backpacks are different. Look at the night vision between the cot and the cars trying to be open in the night. It was said that they were abusing Cash. That's why CPS was scheduled to come the next day or that week. Okay, sweetheart. Kamron and his mom know exactly what happened. Let's go. Okay. How old were the kids that were removed from the house? 14 and 18, if I'm not mistaken. She originally has 4 children, to my knowledge. Kamron is the oldest child. He's 18 or 17 or something like that. No, they were not related. Oh, I was negative official. I was saying that I really didn't think about that part before. Oh, okay, that's okay, Jamie. Well, this is a baffling story. This is, to me, just a sick and perverse Cal City, Bakersfield. Very, very sick. You there, Night Owl?
Uh-huh. I was listening to you, and I think it's going to become more of a circus in the next coming weeks.
Well, toxicology, autopsy will tell us what we are all searching for, and DB not being charged just yet is very telling. Yes, it is telling. But see, then here comes the police contradicting that, like, well, he's the sole person. I know he kidnapped this baby, so I also know he killed him. We ain't looking at no other suspects, blah, 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 blah. Well, if you feel so strongly that he did it, you should have arrested him on suspicion.
Right?
Unless you're in a state that that's not allowed, I don't know.
Yeah, the
They are
autopsy
all a negative
is
part of the
everything.
story in some way. Yes, Jamie, and that's the problem. That's the problem with all the stories you hear of missing children, dead children. When you start dissecting and chopping up the people involved, they all are usually tainted in some form or another. They have mad drama going on. They're alcoholics, they're drug addicts, they've broken the law, they stay in trouble, they're on parole, they just got out of jail. It's always some shenanigans. Just to show you the obvious. These people don't need to have children in their possession. Herman and his mom are meth addicts. The motive is money. They murdered a child for the purpose of starting a GoFundMe for drug money. Dear God, that's bad. Why are you all saying that?
Maybe because they started to go GoFundMe.
You think these people actually killed this kid just to get GoFundMe money? Damn, that's deep.
Addicts do anything.
Yeah, but damn, that's just extensive though, still. Because you keep forgetting the children do belong to somebody else. So you being honoring and narcissistic to think you just gonna be able to hoard all the money for some children that actually belong to another man and woman.
But they did it. They started their GoFundMe.
And guess what? I bet you
Knowing
that,
that,
I bet you that GoFundMe ain't up now. How much you want to bet?
right. But they probably wasn't thinking that they couldn't pull that off. Addicts. And that says a lot about the mama to go along with her daughter.
No. It's a 6
You have
story.
to think about that for the
Nice.
mama to go along with the daughter knowing that the apple don't fall far from the tree.
Well, the mother was wrong for starting to GoFundMe knowing damn well that's not her grandchild, and nor was that her child's child. So that put a bad taste in my mouth when I heard that day one. I was like, okay, you don't have the children. You're not the legal guardian. You should have known somebody would have been looking for the children or find or whatever how it go. They're not your kids because you're acting like they didn't even have no family. I could see if there was nobody related to the children alive. The children were abandoned by the father, who was also a drug addict. We need to see the video with the time stamps. Cash doesn't move once. How long were the intervals between the motion being censored? I don't know. Queen, people are not on your level when it comes to processing information. I know Monica was so high you could have hit her in the head with a brick and knocked her out. Never trust a drug addict, okay? I think it started as an accident and then it became about the money, okay, Jamie? Why would he try to hide himself in the night rather than day? I have no idea. How about a GoFundMe for the little one that's gonna need it most? Carter. Amen. That's true. Why not enter through the kid's door in the bedroom instead of going through the house? Shut your mouth, Tracy. Yes. That's what I said in the beginning. This is an odd room. Where does that door go? That's looks like a front door across from the armoire. How did he know he was wet unless he knows him or you around kids? True, very true, love. DB is the
Yeah, that's why
scapegoat.
I said none of that made sense. That whole night was convenient. Everything about it. Convenient.
Yeah. Oh Lord. Very sad. If he didn't do this, Lord have mercy. God help his soul. He get himself out of it. Well, what if he did do this? What if Darren Brown did all this by himself?
He a heck of a mastermind.
Okay. Yes, I thought that too. He clearly isn't afraid of being seen. Yes, that's what I'm going to say. Is he actually mentally handicapped? Because that's the behavior of a narcissist, sociopath. Yeah, I'll walk up here on the camera. Ain't nobody going to do nothing to me. What they going to do? You understand what I'm
And then
saying?
I'm gonna go 8 blocks with him.
Right. Or 3 blocks, whatever the actual range is. The point is not caring to be seen on a video surveillance camera. To me, that's bothersome. Very bothersome. Okay. Tracy says in the backyard, I seen a video. What is that, Tracy? Cameron was acting very suspicious and speaking way too much during his news interview. He knows exactly what happened. Yes, Cobra K. Possibly he does. So that's why I tell people to be leery of people who talk all the time. They got a web to spin. And then when you start talking about other parties involved in the story, such as relatives, that same person has a story to give about them and what they did, didn't do. And I just tell you to be leery, to be very leery. And the bit where it looks like he's being a weirdo is actually someone else psyching themselves up to picking up a dead baby, and DB is so obvious scapegoat because he has already had reports about him. Possibly, Joanne. In the video with Brown, you can clearly see he was talking to someone else not seen in the video. Well, who was he talking to, Cobra? Story doesn't match up even a little bit for it to be solely him. Oh, Lord. It's even worse. Well, I'm 2 hours in. We're going to cut this live. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. It's in the description of the video. All super chats are welcome during the live. I will be back on later today with another commentary pertaining to the death of Cash Gernon. Who took him? Why? Some of you believe Darion did this. Some of you believe he was orchestrated to do this, coerced to do this. Some of you think it's drug related. Some of you think it's got something to do with a child molestation case. CPS was called. Something. We don't have all the facts. So right now it's just assumptions, innuendos, narratives, however you want to word it. But in the end, it's tragic because it's the death of a 4-year-old. And now his twin has to make his way in the world by himself without a brother, without his better half. This is just a terrible story out of Dallas, Texas. And I don't know really what to say, but I got a bad feeling about this story now hearing that Kamron knew him. They were friends. He threw shade the other day. Makes no sense. I mean, about this young guy in the interview. Why would you have anything to say about him when allegedly you didn't hang around, you didn't know him? What does the mother know? When she says, I don't want you, that leads me to think she was basically speaking sober thoughts. They've had some type of dealing, been around each other. It's something. It is something. Yes, and no one has been charged with the murder. Bottom line, the police mind is made up. They got the person open and closed case. I don't think anybody will be charged. Well, Kathleen, we will see. We will see. Thank you all for joining me. Have a safe day today. Thank you, Nadia, for joining me. I hope everything works out. Yes, Joanne, I hope everything works out for Carter too. Let's pray for Carter's safety, that he's in some decent hands. These people are lucid and ready to raise a kid. Because what I have to tell myself, how in the world can this child be with this woman, who's the same woman that took he and Cass and dumped them off when the father got out of jail? And 9 times out of 10 didn't have a way to take care of the kids because you see he's a misfit. He doesn't care about himself enough to stay out of jail. So how the hell could he adamantly care for 2 small children? That's why I tell you all to stay woke. That what is obvious has already been said and spoken to you. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Nubian. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Tracy. Love. Thank you all for joining me, Joanne. God bless all of you. I'll be back later with another live pertaining to this storyline. This is Everyday Shenanigans. You all have a safe day.
You too.